All right, welcome to Geeks Talking Geek. I am Bandito Bing, your host, and I'm here with Aaron Roberts. And Aaron, how you doing? How you doing today?
Better. It's been some since the last time I was on. There's definitely been some life events, but I'm doing okay today. It's been kind of quiet and chill, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing better. All
Thank
right,
you.
all right. So first, some updates on the last topics we talked about. I saw that you got your own blind bag.
I did. I have my cover right here. Did you get one?
No, I missed out.
You really?
Yeah, I
I
missed.
I, I thought John still had some when I was there on Wednesday, our buddy. But
Yeah, I stopped by. I thought when I saw like I saw like two left, and I was like, I'll maybe no one will pick them up. I'll wait till Friday to get it, and then when I got there, they were gone.
oh, I'm sure you can find them online, dude. Like,
Yeah,
it's probably not hard.
yeah, but like John, we talked about the blind bag last week. Last time we were here, we talked about the blind bag, and I talked to John personally, and he said that it was very lucrative for him
Hmm.
because the blind people were coming in for the blind bag mostly. Okay. Also, news update for Raja Jackson and the Psycho Stu and Raja Jackson incident. Raja Jackson is still free. Unfortunately, Psycho Stu is out of the hospital. And let's see. Oh yeah. Well, lost Aaron. All right. Psycho Stu is out of the hospital, and he will be making a quick recovery. Oh, lost you for a little bit.
It's the wrong thing. I'm back.
Yeah. All right. So Psycho Stu will be making a recovery, but a warrant has yet to be released for Raja Jackson's arrest. And let's see, what else did we talk about? Oh yeah. And Sylph is here. Hey buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Hey,
We're doing good.
we're
Aaron,
doing really good.
Aaron, this is my buddy Sylph. I've known him for 3 years. He's a fellow artist like you.
Hey,
Hello.
Phil. Nice to meet you.
Lovely to
All right.
meet you as well.
All right. So also Roblox tried to save PR, saying that they've been in touch with Schlep, which Schlep denies. So
No
also
surprise.
yeah. Also, Chris Hansen has finished his documentary interview with Schlep, so expect an update soon. But first, we're going to talk about one of the things I hate the most: politics, and why I think no one should talk about politics, especially if you have your name on a product. All right, so this is Gretchen Felker-Martin. She is a transgender woman, which nothing is wrong with that. She has a niche audience in the horror scene. She was hired by DC to write Red Hood after her she did a short story for DC of Harley Quinn, and after the game ending of Charlie Kirk, who I do not agree with politically or morally, she put some comments that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and this cost her job. Her contract was terminated from DC, and Red Hood was canceled after one issue. All pre-sales to retailers for issues 2 and 3 were taken off the market, and any comic book store retailers who bought Red Hood #1 were given DC credit so they could good, and DC have been given an apology, and this is her original post. She said, "Thoughts and prayers go out to the Nazi bitch. Hope the bullet was okay after touching Charlie. Yeah. Okay. This is just vile. I don't know. I don't have oh, hey Grumpy. I don't have hey Grumpy, how you doing? I don't have anything in the game of transgender politics. That's more your thing, but even this kind of can't be defended.
Yeah. So along with you and many other people, do not agree with the things that Charlie Kirk said. Couldn't disagree more strongly, right? However, what this person said, however they felt about them, was not okay, right? As much as you disagree with people, you don't wish ill on them, and when those things do happen, you should show compassion, right? Did we not learn anything from Superman, the new movie, where kindness is the new punk rock, right? And this is definitely a time when that old saying of if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all, right? I think she deserves what she got. As someone who has signed Warner Brothers NDAs and agreements before, I can tell you that those things are really, really strict, and they make it very clear that if you say something on a social media that they find offensive, they will terminate your contract. So I don't know if she just didn't care or didn't think this was going to get back to them. I see this comment that you have on the screen comes from Ethan Van Scriver, who is also someone who is not afraid to poke the bears, let's just say. And so, come on, man. You should have known better. And I hope you weren't counting on the income of this gig to support you, because you messed it up pretty bad.
Yeah. So, you got anything to say?
Just I was a little kind of taken aback by your opening comment with if you have any form of public notoriety or any sort, that you should not be bringing politics into it. I think there needs to be a finer line drawn on what is political and what is someone who is just seeking human rights. Because a lot of times nowadays, there is a lot of people who are tossed into either the left wing or liberal standpoint for simply just believing that humans should exist with minimal restraints on personal decisions such as gender, people you sleep with, and so on and so forth. And in this climate, especially where a lot of human rights are currently being attacked by those who are standing on these podiums of specifically politics, it is uprooting those who are being deemed political when in reality they are actually just speaking on human rights. Now, I do understand that the way she articulated this, I think she shouldn't have made light or humor on anyone's death. That is something that should not be done in general. But on the standpoint that no one should ever bring politics into something, I don't think it's political to flat out say that you support people for just wanting to be who they are.
Yeah.
That being said, she should not have stated that she was wishing death upon someone, even though I do understand where her anger is coming from, because there are a lot of people who are standing on these high horses and who are 100% getting away with calling someone disgusting for simply having a genital preference.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk has said some pretty horrific things, and some things about gun violence. So it is pretty ironic what happened to him, and sad. My heart goes out to his family and his children.
Most definitely.
Yeah, but So
Yeah.
I mean, I get where this person is coming from, right? But those are things that you don't post publicly on the internet when you have a a job working for a major like billion-dollar media company.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking about another media company, another game developer for the upcoming Ghost of Yotei actually lost the company probably hundreds with her interpretation of what happened on Wednesday,
Oh,
and she also lost her job. So this
Once
is
they
Drew.
in the show.
So this is Drew. This is Drew Harrison. She has worked for Sucker Punch Studio for 10 years, and unfortunately, she could not. She could not keep going. She could not STFU.
F you.
So shut the F up when it happened. So she said, I hope the shooter's name is Mario, so that Luigi knows his bro got his back. And instead of walking back, she doubled down on this. Well, unfortunately, Sony, this since it's Sony has followed up on the posts saying that she has lost her job Thursday morning. And she says, if standing to fascism is what cost me my dream job I held for 10 years, I will go again 100% stronger. But except when it says if asked if she needs financial support, I don't need any money. Ghost of Yotei is an amazing game made by 200 people I love dearly. Donate to the families of Giza and the Trevor Project for ACLU. All right, at least her heart is in the right place, but her mind is not. I gotta say that.
Yeah, this I think is less. I think maybe this one was handled a little harsher than maybe it needed to be. It wasn't nice what she said, but it was a joke, right? Like she didn't say I'm glad this person died or anything like this, or called him. Didn't make negative remarks about Charlie Kirk after his death. Just kind of joked about who the shooter might be, right?
Yeah,
This is also the first time
and
I've heard of it.
yeah, and this goes in both ways. I mean, I remember the first time I heard about this was I saw Yellow, and Grumpy, I know you're gonna disagree with this one. I saw Yellow Flash and maybe Nerdrotic and a couple other guys believing something from Newsmax saying that the shooter was a transgender advocate, and that was not the case. Actually, the guy was most likely they found the guy. They released his picture. The manhunt was ongoing even when that news came out. And the guy who was found actually had some military training. He was never into politics, but for the past 3 years he got into politics, and it basically did something in it. That's why I hate politics. It makes people go insane. Man, yeah, it's still a joke, but it's still a joke. But no, I mean, there is no humor in that joke. I don't find it funny. I don't find it anything. I don't find it funny. I don't think she should have posted it. Grumpy, I agree with that. But people are, yeah. All right. This is what Grumpy said, because when Charlie Kirk died, there were some rumors going around that the person who shot him was a transgender advocate, and I'm like, no, that's not true. It's only going to hurt people who are transgender. And it says and so when the news came out, I saw it from Voice Critical Charlie Penguin Zero, but it's one of the things that wait until more stuff comes out. But I mean, it's going. A lot of people were already on the fence. We're already on the fence with Ghost of Yotei, but now there were people who canceled their pre-orders because of what Drew said, and unfortunately, this might cost the game. This might hurt the gaming industry more. Sony's going to look at this as a failure. They're going to see this as they're going to lay off some people from Sucker Punch and maybe cancel more projects.
Yeah, Sony. I don't know. Is it going to hurt? Maybe they'll lose some pre-orders, right? A couple hundred, couple thousand, maybe. I hope that it doesn't hurt the game that much, as that person said. You know, there were 200 plus people who made that game, so this is just their opinion. I understand Sony being mad because this person probably lost the money, and it, you know, Grumpy's right. They were still making fun of that person's death, right? Outside of that, I don't really know what to say. Like, it's not. I don't agree with making fun of people's death. It's sad. But here we are. I agree that we have become much too politicized in this country. I wish I condone political violence in all forms, no matter who does it or what side it's against.
Yeah. Sylph, anything before we move on?
Nope.
All right. Well, let's go to something lighter or something more infuriating, because you two are artists and you put your blood, sweat, and tears, and you put your blood, sweat, and tears into your work. Well, oh yeah, it's a shout out. Hola, hail. Shout out to Sylph and Aaron.
Thanks,
Why,
Grumpy.
thank you. I greatly appreciate that.
All right, so Dragon Con is one of the biggest conventions, almost rivals Comic-Con in San Diego. It's usually held in Labor Day in September, where vendors, comic book artists, celebrities, everybody goes and spends Labor Day just geeking out. Unfortunately, it brought the worst of them out. It brought out AI grifters. Okay.
I know Bandito's already aware of how I feel on this matter, and I'm sure Grumpy is mildly aware, seeing as he's popped onto quite a few of our streams. But I find it absolutely disgusting that AI artists feel the entitlement upon other artists' art out of the saying of, well, I just can't do that. So this machine gives me the ability to do that, when it completely negates the actual people who have put their lives into these things, and then completely negates how copyright originally was created as a form to protect those who were actually creating things from those who were using the creators to make an easy buck off of. And I feel we are taking a back step by allowing AR artists to continue to maintain a space in this art community and continuing to grow. I 100% I do not encourage bullying, but I 100% encourage artists who will take, say, AI art and do it 10 times better.
Yeah. All right. So, like, a vendor under the name Oriana Greta's art was escorted out of Dragon Con 2025 because they were accused of selling AI art as original art over the weekend. Guerra's art was located in A10 booth Pop Artist Alley, and according to photographer Pat Lokaya, after complaints came in, he asked he was asked to prevent a process video sent in an AI video. Lied when he applied for the booth, used his girlfriend's name supposedly. After complaints came in, he was asked to prevent the process video, sent in an AI video. This is what I learned from the artists who lobbied the complaints. Now,
yeah, I did a little research on this. I mean, a very minimal research, right, about this guy. Apparently, this is not the first time he's done something like this. That comment about his girlfriend is the actual person who paid for the booth. She was actually in Europe at the time. And so he comes in and sets up. And this guy is actually a pro. He has done like pro work for Disney Lorcana. And what's been discovered is that he's augmenting his art with like AI art and filters, and like he'll do a base painting and then he'll run it through AI and apply a bunch of different stuff on it, right? And apparently he has actually been banned from working with Disney because of this. Yeah, they do this bait and switch thing where his girlfriend will sign up, and then he'll show up, and he'll have a mix of like his own art with like AI boosted art, and good man, he deserved to get kicked out of that, and I'm glad to hear that Disney is actually sticking to their standards and banned him from working with them. And that was prior to the Dragon Con. This is like an old news thing. But I don't really have anything other to say, like, good riddance, right? Go to AI ArtCon or something. And
Is that a thing?
I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened at someday. You can all go circle jerk and that convention and see who wants to buy your stuff.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So when I sent you the links, I was like, you're gonna say, "Oh my Irene." Did you say it when you saw it?
Kind of, I did, but not in the matter that I think you're saying, because I was not surprised. I was more saying, oh my Irene, at finally getting some satisfaction in the fact that these large events that function out of the love of art and function and thrive off of art alone, like these fantasy events like DragonCon, would not exist if artists hadn't sat down and decided to put their thoughts to pencil and paper and create these beautiful worlds to allow these communities to flourish in. And so see them actually clap back on the people who are attempting to take away from that, or attempting to create part of their own section of the community to hurt other fellow artists. It's very satisfying. It's very nice to see. And I hope this giving him the attention, the proper attention he deserves, means that he will no longer have a name properly in the art world. And I hope anyone that even considers working with him has to triple, quadruple, a zillion times check, and will forever have some form of like okay, if we sign off with this gentleman, there is a good chance we will lose a large chunk of our community for the notoriety of his AI use, and the fact that I would like to say minimum 60% of the population that are artists vehemently stand against AI, and a lot of the times they are the consumers of these said products, because us artists love other artists. Like, if we didn't have other artists to look at, we wouldn't have inspiration. Like, myself am highly inspired by Queenie Art, Jonan Vasquez, Stan Lee, a bunch of big hitters. And I feel they were influenced by other big hitters and small hitters themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I remember we went to Dragon Con, and I just loved Artist Alley. I had some of my best places. I got some of the best places of art there, and I just can't imagine dropping like $50 on a Godzilla poster and learning later that it was AI generated.
Mm-hmm. It would completely ruin it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I've
mean,
heard people have tried to get refunds from these two and got stonewalled. So
yeah. The apparently the when it was discovered that that she wasn't at the event, it was basically red flag number one, because an artist needs to be at the event to promote their own art.
mhm. Most
Most
cons
And
have a rule that says you have to be there if this is your booth. That you cannot sublet your booth to somebody else.
yeah. And how many cons have you been to, Aaron?
I've stopped for the last year or so, but probably like 20, probably more like 30 to 40 over like a few years. I've been to a few, like as a vendor, that many, right? And
Yeah.
probably another 20 or 30 more just as a fan.
Mm. Yeah, because like one of the things that there's another guy we have on here sometimes, like the Ginger Ninja. He goes to comic book conventions in all around Japan, and he basically helps up. He basically does whatever he can, sell his own art and make sure it gets out there.
Mhm.
So I love the guy. He's a very hard worker. He's doing what he loves, but when you see AI, it really chaps my ass when you see AI art doing something like this, and it is just.
I love how nowadays, as a consumer community, a lot of these larger companies that are now, instead of paying artists to actually create art for their products, are using AI. And it's becoming a detriment to these companies because the consumers see that they're using AI and then they scratch their heads and go, what else are they cutting corners? If they're being
Mm.
this cheap about something so dire to their products, like if you don't have proper branding, if you don't have proper art on your products, there's a good chance it's never going to sell. So what other corners are they cutting that are not as visible to the consumers? And it's causing a big trust issue with consumers. Like, I know for a fact, I recently watched a video where a small chunk of people were talking about how this one company was using AI art to promote its products, and that caused them to do a deep dive and find out that they were using products that were actually harmful for the skin while being a skin care company.
Oof, that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's becoming an immediate red flag, and I love to see it, honestly. The more we create red flags of AI art, the less companies will feel as ballsy to use it. And so artists who deserve these jobs will finally get the recognition and the freelance that they need and deserve.
Yeah. So
Speak,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, speak with your dollars, people, right? If you don't support AI art, don't buy stuff that has AI art, and the companies won't keep making it.
Oh, another update I forgot to say. Netflix actually outdid Disney this summer with K-pop Demon Hunters. You actually like that show? You actually
I
like that
love
one?
K-pop Demon Hunters. Is fucking great, man. I
Still
love
gotta
K-pop
watch it.
Demon Hunters. You haven't seen it?
No,
Yeah,
I I
it's
keep
amazing.
I keep hearing a lot from the Critical Drinker and other like movie reviews. They're like, K-pop Demon Hunters was great. It has so much. It feels like old school Disney. They have an anime together.
Yeah. Here's my very quick take on it. It's fun, right? You have a good time it's a short movie. It's 90 minutes. The story, paper thin. Like, you could poke holes in the story in 5 seconds, right? There's a lot left out, but like animation wise, it's gorgeous. They use the Spider-Verse style. So if you're a fan of the Spider-Verse movies, you're going to love the animation style. Whether you like K-pop or not, which I am a K-pop fan, the songs are catchy enough that you'll enjoy them, right? And there's fun references for people who do enjoy K-pop.
Yeah.
I mean, the music was good enough that it's actually being played on the radio, right? So,
All right.
I'm
What were you gonna say?
I'm not even a K-pop fan, and I loved Demon Hunters personally. Like
Yeah.
it, yes with the paper thin stories, but I think that was more of they had a lot more going on in the background, and they had to start cutting things, and that caused their nice big book to turn to a singular page. That could be used as a device to continue on the story for much more movies, though.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. All right. So next, the year next is we are going to talk about Punisher coming back. I mean, issue 1 just dropped out this week. I actually have it. Let me show you my. Yeah, here we go.
Is that the Red Band book?
Yes, the red band, my collage variant. I actually read it, and yeah, it's a decent first issue. Some little bit of holes, a little bit of drop, little bit of plot inconsistencies, but I am just glad to have Frank Castle back as the Punisher and not Joe Garrison. I think that they.
Oh, go ahead.
Because I think Jason Arron did the Punisher dirty. All right.
Because he replaced Frank?
No, because of what basically what he basically changed the entire backstory of the Punisher.
Mm.
Like Frank was a deadbeat dad, and he was neglectful. He was a neglectful husband and deadbeat dad.
Boo.
So everything that they did was they basically did it because of what happened during September 11th. There was a guy with a Punisher patch on. There was a guy with a Punisher patch on his vest, and everything went snowballs from there. But like, to catch up to speed, woke weirdos at Marvel Comics did away with the Punisher back in 2002. And this is from Cosmic Comic Book News. They changed the logo, replaced the character, as they've done with tons of other characters that also all failed. Blah blah blah. Marvel Comics even went so far as to completely destroy Frank Castle by removing the very reason he's the Punisher. They brought back his wife from the dead, leaving Frank demoralized and forsaken by his resurrected wife Maria. The reason they got rid of Frank Castle is they hate what the Punisher represents. Many people in police and military in real life are inspired by the Punisher and even use his logo. Well, I'm not going to say that because I think this guy has hate. They hate police. They hate military. Of course, they hate Trump. So they did away with the Punisher. With the Punisher, they made Frank Castle up his war on crime and replaced him with a different character. The most recent series was canceled after 4 issues. How that worked out, and they brought back the Frank Castle with one thing. He actually has amnesia, and he's being controlled by the Kingpin. So yeah, it's a good start. Kinda iffy in some places. He's going up against Tombstone, fighting killing the criminals, going back to like good raw Punisher rampage, and it kind of reminds me of Welcome Back, Frank.
Okay.
I don't know if you read. I don't know if you read it, Aaron.
I'm not a huge Punisher fan, so I can't say much about this. I can understand, while I don't agree with everything that this guy said, I understand why Disney and Marvel would want to move away from some of the representation that the Punisher has. I get people who have like kind of co-opted his logo, right? And I think, as you mentioned before we went live, Born Again did a great job of addressing that pretty directly, right? They had a real conversation about what that is and why it sucks. And so good on them. And I'm glad that Frank's back. They've tried to replace the Punisher many times, and he always comes back. My favorite version was Frankencastle, which I thought was cool and fun and stupid, but just great. Like from a comic book point of view, that was amazing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how he came back from that, but cool. But still, that was still Frank, right? But they made him black.
Yeah.
They've replaced him with other people. They've replaced him with this guy. And it's always eventually goes back to Frank, right? And it's kind of like Spider-Man always goes back to Peter Parker, right? He always goes back to single, which I think they've figured out that Frank is the best Punisher, and they just need to keep him grounded like that while they're still trying to mess around with Peter Parker and do weird things with him and make him 20 years old again when he's 100.
And in actuality, he's like 30.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought like Punisher was such a straightforward character, and it's like you don't need to go in depth about why he did what he did. It's just pure vengeance. It's like one of the things that he said that John Borthall said during an interview. He said Frank Castle can be any one of us. It just takes one bad day to push you over the edge.
I mean, yeah, but I do believe he has a very bad moral compass, but he does have one, right? He doesn't just kill people indiscriminately. I think he's anti-corruption, right? Is what I would say.
He never kills ops. He doesn't, even if they're corrupt, he doesn't endorse violence to kids. He doesn't. He will protect women. Like there was this one of my favorite Punisher comics was Darth Run, where he went up against Russian human traffickers, and one of the women who was basically bankrolling the thing, she was saying that she was bigger than the women that they were bringing over. Well, basically politically, she was bigger. She could send them back any way she wants. So Frank basically went into her office, started throwing her up against the window, but it was shatterproof, and he kept doing it. And she's like, "Oh, please, no more." He's like, "Why? I'm bigger than you. Isn't that your entire rhetoric?" And he kept throwing her up against the window until the panes warped and the window fell out, and she went down the building.
Oh,
yeah, Self, you got anything to say about the Punisher?
Not really. I was someone that I've seen. Okay, this is gonna sound horrendous. I know of the Punisher. I know of his story. I actually ended up partaking in, I think it was Netflix that released a series on the Punisher.
Oh
But
yeah,
aside from that, I don't really partake in much Punisher media. I think he's really cool. I think like, you already know, Bendito. I'm really into Bruce Wayne. I love Batman. I love those types of stories. And he isn't quite that, but he runs a similar theme. And I enjoy that theme.
yeah,
But I don't know much about him, really.
yeah. Look up the crossover between him and Batman, because it was a fun read. This came out way before you were born, because you're currently 21. Yeah, this came out in 98 or 90,
Oh, man.
94, I think. Man, I feel old.
Shut up, dude. I'm old. You made me feel old. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was that one was such a fun to read because you had two people who had different modes of fighting, who had different moral compasses of fighting each other. Batman doesn't kill, but Punisher indiscriminately kills.
Yeah, I would say like those two are very similar, right? In theology, kind of, but not in means, right?
Yeah.
They have the similar goals, almost like Daredevil and Punisher, right? Like they're kind of aligned in that, but one kills and one doesn't.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to our next topic. IDW, it releases their entire. IDW has been into a lot of stress lately, but they have just released their solicitations for fall and winter, and one of their main things is one of the main attractions is going to be one of the biggest big crossover between two of the IPs that they have right now. Their biggest IPs that they have right now. Let me get it up.
Let me guess. Is it Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers?
Nope. Ninja Turtles and Godzilla.
Oh my god. It's all green.
So there are also some solicitations for Monster High on here.
Nice.
Godzilla and Monster High.
Yeah. They also have some Battle Nexus news for it's like a big tournament they're promoting for next year with the Turtles and other ads. I know I want to get Magic the Gathering too, Spider-Man edition too, but come on, no ads. Not when I'm streaming. All right, the Battle Nexus is going to be a tournament between the four Turtles and four of their biggest nemesi. It's going to be like Leonardo and Shredder, Raphael and Apollox, Donatello and Metalhead. Oh, I remember Metalhead. And Michelangelo and Slash. So like another one, that's another thing that they're promoting.
They're trying to make some heavy hitters.
Yeah. And also they just announced that
I've had hydrogen super Tiva.
Crying out loud, I hate these ads.
Have you ever thought about using a VPN?
They cost too much. Yeah, I know. I spent $100 on models, but I won't put $40 for a VPN. I know how crazy that is. So even your sibling thought I was crazy when I told them I was too broke and too lazy to buy a car.
So this Battle Nexus book, it just sounds like another Ninja Turtles book, right? It's very focused on the fights, but
yeah,
all of those characters are Ninja Turtles characters.
Yeah, so we also got Casey Jones, more Ninja Turtles. They're really laying it on on Ninja Turtles ever since they lost the IP. But they're also bringing up other Godzilla, their Godzilla media as well. Starship Godzilla. I just got Starship Godzilla. And I just got KC Air 1 and 2 for Godzilla. I just got them on Friday. Godzilla Dead Zone is incredible. I've read the first one. And let's see. Oh, it's the street. They're bringing up Monster High World Scare #4.
Street Sharks, I saw.
Yeah, Street Sharks as well. And from IDW Dark, they're bringing in Twilight Zone, in Event Horizon.
That cover art for the Twilight Zone
So,
is crazy good. Yes.
Yeah, just look at it. This reminds me of like something you'd see from heavy metal. It's loading.
Most definitely.
Yeah. This looks like something, either something from six. I know Twilight Zone is 60s 60s. This is pure 60s goodness right here.
It's very ECW.
Oh, you mean EC? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, EC Comics.
Yeah. So they're doing Event Horizon also, huh? I love that movie.
Yeah.
This is Paul W.S. Anderson's
Also,
only good movie.
Yeah. So, here we go. Monster High World Scare. So, like this. Come on.
They keep bouncing between two different art styles. I know it's made by completely different people, so that makes sense. But I've noticed when it comes to comics for Monster High, especially, they have two ways they go. They either go a mild realism fashion model type way, which I'm not against whatsoever. Technically, the original coming of Monster High was early 2000s Hot Topic emo scene kids. It's either that or it's very like it's a cartoony, like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Because it's very cartoony, like each character gets a singular color for their like entire embodiment of that character, and that character holds that color for the entirety of the comic, and it's a lot more blocky, and it uses a lot more cell shading.
Interesting. So yeah, I could see where that inconsistency would be kind of frustrating.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Street Sharks. I'm actually remember watching Street Sharks when I was a kid.
My only question about that is, can they somehow get Vin Diesel involved?
All right. So this is from the. Let's see what else IDW Dark has. Here we have more Star Trek. They're really going into their only IPs that they have left.
So what IP did you say they lost? Was it Transformers?
They lost Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, The American Girls. But they still have
Hasbro.
They still have mostly Hasbro. They still have Monster High. They still have Godzilla, or they got Godzilla a couple years ago. They got and they also got they still have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they were able to keep Star Trek. So like, oh god, Lord Dex, why? I never liked that show. It's like it just like comes off as Star Trek version of Rick and Morty.
I found it quite enjoyable personally. It had a very down-to-earth humor while still maintaining a lot of what the original Star Trek was. That being said, I do understand why those might not like it, especially if you're coming from the original media, because a lot of it was very very heavy toned, while Lower Decks is attempting to do exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
And so that's why I could see the whole Rick and Morty comment. I think it's more of the art style that does that for it, though, because if I remember correctly, one of the main storyboarders that is also on Rick and Morty does partake in storyboarding in partial character creation for Lower Decks as well.
Yeah.
What I haven't seen the show. What
Yeah.
timeline is it set in?
I don't even quite
saw-
remember myself. I know it is quite long after. It is quite a while after Kirk and all that, but you know that the show that was the live action of Star Trek that was doing a similar playoff of the original Star Trek.
Mm.
If I believe correctly, it's around the similar timeline of that. It's made to portray what is going on with the other crewmates while these main characters are having their main character time.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I think I saw like a Borg person, so I'm assuming it's like TNG.
Yeah, let me bring it up. It's I'd say it's like TNG or Deep Space Nine around there.
Grumpy said the timeline is Pickard.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, post
Pickard,
TNG.
Picard.
Pickard.
Pardon.
Picard.
Thanks, Grumpy.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's.
Also, Grumpy hates that show.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we got Strange New Worlds, and this is. I don't know if anybody's seen Strange New Worlds. I know Sully is a big Star Trek fan, but he does not. He abhors the other, like a lot of the new Star Treks, but he actually likes Strange New Worlds, I think. And this was before Kirk took over as captain of the Enterprise. It has Captain Cutter instead. Let's see what. Oh, so this I thought Archie had Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, come on. Why does it? Oh, here we go. Okay, so we now have Sonic the Hedgehog as well. And I think that's all the solicitations. So, Rose by Wolves. Yeah, they have some top shelf stuff. So, like the entire thing is that they are trying to get a handle they're trying to get a handle on DC and Marvel because DC and Marvel just released their November solicitations just now, so they want them to know that they want basically a preview of more of what to expect.
Okay. Man, it's got to be tough for Boom. Is Boom
So
even still around? IDW. Anybody who's not Marvel or DC who doesn't have a huge
Boom.
parent company backing them up. It's the comic space has got to be rough, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like I know Mad Cave had to lose ever since Diamond. Mad Cave actually had to cancel a couple of their books for Free Comic Book Day, and also Boom had to cancel a couple of books as well. But it's rough. It's rough for indie writers or indie comics right now.
Especially with the fear that if we do actually publish our works, there is a good chance that someone will either attempt to take the notoriety of it and rewrite something extremely similar to it, or they will flat out completely tear all the flesh off of it and toss it into an AI machine to make what they claim is fan art or their own version of it. I've seen it happen so many times this last few years that I completely understand why a lot of indie artists have flat out gone underground to prevent that from happening to their works.
Yeah. All right. Speaking about what's been going on, what's been going on with indies, indies. We're going to talk about a topic that Sylph has been waiting to talk about.
Yes, it is Silk Song time.
Yes, we're going to talk about Silk Song. All right, so right now indie devs are they're asking, yeah. So why Hollow Knight Silksong threatens to upend indie gaming as we know it, and this is really good, and also really bad. If you actually believe the credibility of some of these journos, but personally, I don't. Alex Trent does comic book news, but he still is clear away from the main gaming landscape. Like Jason Schreier got mad because he didn't get it.
Uh-oh, we lost you.
Didn't get a review code.
Oh.
But the games that break established rules gains massive popularity. Oh, what's that?
I was just gonna say, are you kidding me? You're crying about not getting a review code. The game's $20.
Mm-hmm. Also, because Team Cherry flat out said nobody that is a reviewer or someone that is a journalist is going to get free or pre-access to a game that their devoted fans have put just as much time, money, and patience into as Team Cherry themselves had. And so they said it'd be flat out spitting into the face of all the people that have supported them through GoFundMe and through these pooling funding game styles that they've done, which I appreciate. Team Cherry always stands for their consumers and for their gamers. And I feel that is one of the sole reasons that when it was told that someone had attempted to pirate and successfully pirated Silksong's free version was actually pirated 30 minutes after the game was released. A large community flat out spat on those people, and the pirating community flat out said there is absolutely no reason you should be doing this. Just go support the people that actually made it. That says something. That says a whole lot of something.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So
I
here
agree.
we go. What this person? Yeah. So this person basically agrees why Keith Mitchell wrote why I agree with Team Cherry's no review codes decision for Hollow Knight Silksong. With the announcement of Hollow Knight Silksong rising sooner than most expected, September 4th, 2025, there has been some frustration around the news. The developer of Team Cherry was reported by Jason Schreier of not providing review codes to anyone, outlets, personalities, influencers, otherwise. Instead, they want to reward the backers who helped fund the game by giving them the first chance to play it outside of the conventions. Apparently, this caused quite a bit of discourse. Some are calling it anti-consumer, saying, without reviews, how will people know if the game is worth playing? I couldn't help but chuckle when I read that giving some some constantly call game reviewers and journalists trash and not worth reading or watching.
Silk, this is your area, so I would love to hear what you have to say. Have you got more to say before I say anything else?
Of course. I think it is honestly hilarious that these gamer reviewers are seeking or claiming that this causes a loss of credibility to Team Cherry, when I think the way Team Cherry did this was the best way to do this. They weren't constantly being like, it's going to happen, it's going to come out in such and such. Oh, sorry, we need to put some more time on it. It's gonna come out in such and such. Oh, sorry, we're gonna have to do this. I know you guys are pretty aware of the types of games I'm talking about that have done that numerous and numerous times.
Yes.
They took all their time and all their effort and put it into the game. And also, like, I don't think Team Cherry needs to build credibility, especially with what they did with Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight didn't come out with hopes of creating hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hollow Knight came out because three guys fell in love with two genres of games and wanted to watch them have a love child. And they did it really, really well. Team Cherry has always wanted their games to have the most user-friendly playability that they could possibly do while also still maintaining a level of difficulty that is challenging and engaging to the players. And then, like the blogger was stating, those that are deemed game reviewers and stuff like that are often laughed at, or their opinions are completely like pushed to the side, because a lot of the time it's completely subjective and opinionated based off of what that specific person likes. So why are we now getting up in arms when they're not gonna do it based off of peer review, when peer review numerous times has shot games in the chest that would have actually had a running good start if it wasn't for reviewers just crapping on them for specific little niche things that they specifically didn't like?
Yeah. So this guy, this Keith Mitchell says, however, instead of the long-winded article, I recorded a long-winded video instead. Here I'll explain. I agree with James Cherry's decision and respect it. Give it a watch. I'll put it down there later. Meanwhile, if you are one of the few who still don't know Hollow Knight Silksong is about, maybe go out, play the game first, see what you're looking forward to. I have played it. It is such an addicting game. A great Metroidvania.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Sylph. I agree with this guy. Team Cherry did the thing that they should have done, which is they held it back until they were happy with it. They took a very artist focused look at this, like how they wanted to release this game. Game reviews are marketing, right? That's what they are. They're not anything more than that, and they don't need the marketing. They had the most wish listed game on Steam ever. Like, I don't need you to review my game. People are going to buy this thing anyway. If it's crap, somebody will tell it's crap and people will stop buying it. Right. And the $20 price tag for a game that's been developed as long as Silksong has and had as much hype as it did, it is freaking comical for someone to say that them not giving out review codes is anti-consumer. That is the most consumer-friendly move I had heard. I was shocked that the game was only $20. They could have sold that game for $100, and people would have paid gladly that much money for it. I'm glad they didn't, because they're not greedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, anyone who's saying that this is an anti-consumer move or they're mad because they didn't get a review code, like, shut up.
So like, look at one of EA's biggest debacles, Dragon Age: The Veilguard. That was one of the worst. That was one of the best reviewed games. Excuse me, but also one of the worst player reviewed games. I mean, why a lot of people don't want to there's like a lack of difference between the reviewer and the consumer now. So why would it's just people want to wonder why Idiot is mad because he didn't get it for free while everyone else had to pay specifically. Yep. Yeah. A lot of people were mad. I mean, it is a good. Sorry, go ahead.
No. You finish your thought first, and I'll come after.
All right. I mean, it is mind-boggling the sense of entitlement that these reviewers think that they deserve for doing what they say that they love.
I couldn't agree more. And I'd also like to highlight that Team Cherry has also continued to push that they're consumer forwarded first, because on the first week of Hollow Knight Silksong being released, one of the biggest review complaints, now we're not counting the it's too hard, get good, listen to Hornet, just get good, but One of the biggest complaints was from the Chinese community specifically, which, if you are aware of Hollow Knight's community, a large chunk of it is specifically a Chinese community. Chinese speedrunners have fallen in love with Hollow Knight, couldn't blame them. But the biggest issue was the dialect from Hornet and the other NPCs sadly did not translate well into other languages. And when it was made clear and brought to Team Cherry's attention, Team Cherry personally apologized and said that originally they had over 3 people working on the localization of it for other languages, but they only had 1 person doing it this time because they took the efforts of those 2 other people and pushed it elsewhere. And after the numerous reviews, they publicly apologized and stated that their next update would be, in fact, finalizing and revising the localizations of the different languages, with more people focusing specifically on the language side of it, due to how important it is to Silksong and how originally Hollow Knight had done that so amazingly. It was localized so well for so many different communities because Team Cherry wanted it to be versatile and accessible to almost anybody. And I think that completely highlights the thought process that Team Cherry has is we want everybody to like it, not because it's Hollow Knight, but because it deserves to be liked and it's actually fun and enjoyable for everybody.
Yeah. All right. Some indie devs are actually afraid of what's going to happen now that with the price. It says in wake of Silksong's sudden release announcement, developers, a few other indie games, particularly those going for a similar vibe, had scrambled to move the release date for their own projects so they weren't competing directly against it. Their caution appears to be warranted as Silksong managed to sell over 500 million copies in just 3 days. God damn. That's about as much as Elden Ring.
I did the math. It's based off of their first week alone with a $20 price tag. Originally, I calculated it with a $15 price tag, and with the original 15 million people that had done Hollow Knight, they made $1.75 billion off of it. And they knew they didn't need to up it. They knew with the amount of people purchasing it, $20 was going to make all the money they needed from it. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, they were just 5 million or 1 million copies, 1 million copies below their first week of Elden Ring.
I am reading through your article that you have on screen, and I understand these developers being concerned, right? But you also have to look at the difference between that, right? They took 6 or 7 years to get this game out, right? And it was originally crowdfunded as part of the first Hollow Knight. I get it. Why am I going to pay $60 for another Metroidvania that's half as big as Hollow Knight or a Silksong, and doesn't play as well, when I could just buy Silksong? So, I guess the devs will have to decide, do we want to have a smaller team so that our costs are lower, right? And we can make a game that takes longer, but we also have far more control over, right? Versus we'll get it out in 2 years, but our costs are way higher and it's gonna be more expensive.
And in those 2 years, because they don't spend as long time doing stuff like bug fixing, checking specific maneuvers and controls, typically those games sadly come out with quite a few more bugs because of the rush time frame they were given. I think most developer communities should take a look at what Silksong did, and instead of trying to rush their games out, they should take the time to slow down and truly appreciate what they love of this game, because if they do so, I feel like everybody in their community will love it just as much as they did, if not more, because us gamers, we appreciate the time and love that goes into games. Like when I first played Detroit Become Human, I appreciated every single visual. They focused on how water would fall off of shirts, how different hairstyles would look wet, how different skin types would play into being androids and stuff like that. And the same can be said for Silksong. Everyone's appreciating the different aerodynamics that Hornet has while flying through the air, and how it feels like a completely different game in the exact same universe.
Yeah, really? You're going to the Dominican Republic? Oh man, I hope you're okay. Hope everything goes okay, Grumpy. I'll let Mac know if I talk to him.
Yes, please be safe,
But
Grumpy.
all right, but Silk Song is such a beautiful game. I mean, that first time when you come out, when Hornet comes out of the cage, and while you're going through the first area, it just shows the name of the devs and everything that's going on. It's just such a beautiful time. I mean, the game is worth it, and unlike a game like Builder that like Mind's Eye, where they rushed it, yeah, and they thought because they created the Grand Theft Auto series, their name alone could actually make them money, or the Saints Row reboot, that they thought their name alone of the Saints Row games could make them money. They ended up losing money because they rushed the job. They rushed the. Really?
I feel like Saints Row completely lost what they were trying to be after game 1. Like, game 2 feels like halfway through. It just doesn't feel like the Saints Row story, the Saints Row world, but that could just be my personal opinion.
Oh, really? Congratulations, Grumpy. He's going to art school.
Wow, congrats, Grumpy. That's awesome.
He's going to art school in the Dominican Republic. Hope you have a good time there. Hope you learn a lot. Yeah,
Be safe.
and yeah, okay, and like he said, like Grumpy also brought up, the name means nothing if the work is trash. And
100.
I think that is true with it when you see games like Saints Row 2020 or 2022, Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and Mind's Eye. But with Silksong, this is just raising the bar for other indie devs right now, and like overall purchasing by 18, and this is actually something that was brought up because Gen Z don't have that much income coming in their way, so they don't spend as much time for buying games. But apparently this one actually brought up the statistics again, because this game touched everyone. And
yeah, I would say that has more to do, not to be all political again, but that has more to do with the fact that those people can't get or hold jobs because the economy sucks so bad. Yeah, I haven't played the game yet. I honestly just beat the original, but my son has already finished the game. Yeah.
Your son's already finished Silksong?
Yes, he has played 50 hours since it's come out.
I see.
He's also 16, so he has more free time for sure.
Yeah, I'm working like 20 hours. I'm working like 20, at least. I've worked like 20 hours for. Sorry, No, not 24 hours for 3 days so far. Because right now we're trying to get the new Spirit open.
Good luck, man.
Well,
The one
Yeah.
out here ain't open yet. I'm waiting for it.
yeah, is that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to dox you, but is that one of the companies that you work for? Can I go find you? Because my other kid asked me to take them to Spirit.
We
Halloween
don't
tomorrow.
open until next Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, so like
Find you.
yeah, so I don't want to dox myself, but it's
Hit me up on
my,
Discord. Let me know where it's at.
Yeah, I'll let you know where it's at. So like the whole thing is like we are working round the clock trying to get all the products in, but I'm working right now with still sibling, a few friends that I made last year, a few other friends that I made last year, and some people who came over from Party City because Party City closed.
Mm.
Womp womp.
They already opened one Spirit out here. There was a Joanne's fabric store that closed down locally, and they've already turned it into a Spirit Halloween. I was like, damn, they put that thing up quick.
We desecrate the corpses of all businesses.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. So like Silk Song, play the game. Hopefully indie devs can because indie devs are where it's at right now. AAA gaming is floundering.
Couldn't agree more. I fell in love with video games through purely indie games, like Edmund McMillan making The Binding of Isaac, and then later making the card game Four Souls, Castle Crashers, Battle Block Theater, Pit People. I know they became an actual bigger company, but they started out as a small indie thing. And then there's a new card game called The Witch's Blight, which is currently on demo on Steam. I would 100% suggest it. It's an amazing kind of mafia-esque card game using a lot of deductions, a lot of internal like thinking to figure out who to take out in the village, like who's the demon and who's just a villager that's lying and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The one on my radar right now is Mina. Mino the Hollower, which is by the guys who did Shovel Knight. So they're finally putting out another full-fledged game. It's like a older school, kind of think of Link to the Past type game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the next indie game I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, the next one I got on my playlist is The Altars by the people who did this War of Mine and Frostpunk, and it's actually one of those games where you have to make tough decisions in order for survival.
Yeah, if I may plug my good friend Ashram, twitch.tv Ashram_BK. He was playing The Altars. It looks like it's a really interesting game. It was enough to get me to want to play that, so that's on my list. The Altars get a little whitey, but like game wise, it's something that you haven't seen before. It's an interesting story. He's also moved on to Expedition 33, which is now top of my list. Like I'm buying that game soon.
2 million. I remember when Expedition 33 came out, and it came around the same time of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Assassin's Creed Shadows was like 3 million players playing online right now, but Expedition 33 just came out the next day. Is like 2.6 million copies sold.
Yeah, for an indie game, that's amazing, right?
Yeah. So are you want to hang out, or are you going to be leaving us?
I probably will be leaving soon. It's getting late for me.
Yeah. All right. So let's go. We'll leave the VA drama late for later. So Sylph, Have you heard of the new D&D bringing back one of their most controversial settings?
What did they do now? What did they do now?
They are bringing back a setting known as Darksun, and it is a post-apocalyptic setting set in a world that's already ended. So the evil wizards have already won,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
The mind players did what they did.
Yeah, so it's a combination of Conan the Barbarian and Mad Max.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna take this as my time to leave because I know nothing about this. So I also
All
have
right.
to go take care of my family. Thank you for the invite. I love being here. I wish I could be here more frequently. I will try.
right.
But Sylph, it was nice meeting you. I have to ask in this picture, and if this doxes you, please don't answer. But are you one of the people are you in the Hollow Knight costume, or are you the other person?
I am in the ghost face costume.
Okay.
That I went with Bandito to one of the cons, and I found him and I came running up. I was like, please, 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 picture, picture, picture. But I love running around in my ghost face costume, and at the time I had a little ghost face son plushie, so I was pretending to be a
Awesome.
single father at con.
Awesome. Well,
All
it was a great meeting you. Thank you again, Bandito Bane, for having me, and hopefully I'll see you all both soon.
All right.
It was lovely meeting you as well. Take
right.
care.
Have a
Bye.
good day, Aaron. All right, so going to Darksun. Let me share up the screen.
Why was it controversial? I think this was a bit before my time because I haven't heard of this personally, but I also got a lot of my D&D from my library when I was in school, and like predominantly from books that I could borrow from friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, Darksun came out around 3rd edition, I think.
Okay. So, little one.
Yeah. So one of the things that Darksun was known for was it being a post-apocalyptic world, and I do not agree with this. I don't agree that there's going to be backlash. I think that fans are going to love that Darksun is back, and it's not.
Gen Z's
I
a
don't
bunch of
think it's
edgelords.
yeah, and I don't think it's going to be politically charged, but basically the emphasis of Darksun is you're in a world where the wizards have won, the world of atheists. The wizards have won. The way they do magic is it drains the environment, and now every city is run by a wizard, is run by an evil wizard, and you start out as either a slave, a gladiator, or sometimes a rebel. So instead of like the generic, you all meet in a tavern, you all meet in a gladiatorial arena in this one.
Okay. I'm assuming the slave concept was what caused the major controversy, even though that makes completely sense, seeing as the entire basis is based off a tyrannical setting, which in this day and age is gonna pop off so well. Lots of people are eating that type of stuff right now. I mean, I know myself, we grew up on the last survivor of apocalyptic world that was caused due to some big baddie making hundreds of thousands of mistakes for everybody else and stuff like that. So I don't see this crashing and failing. I think this story is gonna skyrocket in popularity.
Yeah, a lot of people have been wanting Darksun to come back, but the one reason why it did not come back was because of the whole chaotic. Oh, for crying out loud! Sorry, damn it. The whole reason it did not come off, it did not, they ended it was because they wanted because the whole chaotic evil narrative of it, in which they believe that players will start working with the evil wizards, they'll start taking in slaves, and they'll start killing people indiscriminately. And this is like, this was like, it wasn't because of it wasn't because it will happen. It was because if it happens. So they basically ended it right there.
Okay,
And,
call me controversial, but in my personal opinion, these roleplay games are exactly where that type of stuff is supposed to happen. You should
yeah,
not be bringing those thoughts to your real life, everyday world that is going to cause you to treat people poor for simply existing or looking down upon someone because they're not you. That being said, I don't see anything wrong with having that type of fantasy or role play in like in D&D or like in these worlds, as long as you understand that your character is bad and you're enjoying playing a bad character. There's nothing really wrong with that, because at the end of the day, it's a fantasy character. This is all make believe. Why the hell are we like policing people's make believe? Like, okay, say you're in a D&D group with people and they're all consenting to this type of play, like as long as everyone knows that you're going to be playing someone horrendous and they're okay with being exposed to that and they understand that that's not you as a character, why is there an uproar against that? Like, if we don't allow people to have those dark thoughts in a free and open space, then they're just going to continue to carry those dark thoughts into the real world and start doing those horrible thoughts in the real world because they don't have an outlet to do it in the fantasy world.
yeah. This has always been a big thing with D&D, because a lot of people have been saying how like there was this one Spelljam. I don't know if you heard of Spelljammers, but there were there was a race of actual monkeys who or actual intelligent monkeys who actually had skin tags which allows them to fly, and they were known as the Atozis. And in their backstory they said this race used to be a slave of wizards until they fought and won their independence, and now they go around space either as mercenaries or mercenary merchants or anything. They're their own independent race now.
Mm-hmm.
Or people online had a fit believing that the Tozis were just basically saying that the Tozis represented black people.
But that completely waters down their entire aspect. Plus, if the Atozis were representing African Americans, then shouldn't that also be a form of empowerment? Because it's not, oh, they're a slave, they're too stupid to get out of slavery. They were able to empower themselves and fight against this disgusting human, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems it's being portrayed that these evil wizards are disgusting humans that are doing everything absolutely wrong. And of course, they're going to do things like take slaves. Most notable people in history who have done extremely disgusting things have taken slaves or marked certain humans as lower class citizens to the point of having a slavery type aspect to them. And
Yeah.
it's not presenting them as never being able to get out of the foot of this evil person. It's presenting them as this race that has empowered themselves. And as you said, they're their own separate species now who can do whatever they want. They're mercenaries, they're merchants. Hell, I'm pretty sure based off of this, there's somebody out there who has made one of them a prince or a princess, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So here's some of the art from the original Darksun.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. It reminds me of Frank Frazetta.
It's given like He-Man. And not like in a bad way, just like the way, because He-Man had a lot of their costumes heavily referenced on like gladiators and such, and that's what
Yeah,
this is giving as well.
yeah, and like with the entire Darksun, like for elves are no longer the forest dwelling hippies like they are in D&D. They are desert stalkers and assassins. The dwarves are either gladiators or warriors or warrior priests,
Mhm.
and hobbits are either wandering tribes of cannibals or 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 even like drunks. I don't know what the second one was. I forgot. But
So it seems these evil wizard archetype has set up a lot of classism and set species racial roles, which is, as I stated before, is not uncommon in these tyrannical dictators that have existed in history. I think honestly they did a really good job at doing that by taking the full thought that these wizards are going to view certain classes as subclasses and designate them into roles or take away opportunities for them so that they are forced into said roles.
yeah, they actually have a sentient species, a sentient. They even in this D&D setting, they have a sentient insectoid species, which were basically either slaves or gladiators. They either worked in the mines or they were taken to be fighters.
To the
And
death.
yes, and so they were, and a lot of people actually loved it because this was something completely different from what they could do in a traditional D&D from either the Forgotten Realms or Dragonlance or even what's that one? Curse of Strahd. It is something they wanted to do. It is a completely different species, and people loved having it, playing it. And there was even an entire race created which was basically by the wizards, which crossbred humans and giants to make them like bigger but less make humans bigger but less intelligent, and they would use them either as bodyguards or as slaves or even fighter or even gladiators. And this is the type of setting that this was that you find yourself in Darksun. You are in hell. You are in a literal hell on earth because the bad guys have won, and you cannot save the world, but you can save the city that the evil wizard is controlling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that D&D Wizards of the Coast does not drop the ball on this. Anything you want to add about this?
From the sounds of it, a lot of people were enjoying this aspect of a world that is setting scenarios that aren't typically set up in D&D, because a lot of the time when slavery or race classism that isn't like very skin level,
Yeah.
it's typically frowned upon, and oftentimes these people are called bigots because they are playing deeply into a lot of the medieval thought processes that was given to them at the time. And this instance is really playing into it. And so I feel that scared. It was Hasbro that was originally owning D&D. No, that wasn't. But the original
No,
people,
the TSR.
TSR, thank you. I feel the fact that it was allowing people to have that open play possibly scared TSR into worrying that certain crowds of consumers was going to say that they were setting up racial genocide fantasies, when in reality it was kind of doing the exact opposite. It was giving those the opportunity to play as these groups of people that were often frowned upon or deemed not worthy of these opportunities, and giving them the opportunities to become their own people, which I don't know. Personally, I feel like that's pretty damn empowering.
Yeah.
And a
It,
lot of D&D is like power play.
so like when TSR actually sold to Hasbro for D&D, they looked at all their catalogs and wanted to see which ones they could keep and which ones they wanted to get rid of. Unfortunately, when they finally got to 5th edition, they decided to discontinue Darksun. But they brought and spelled another one, I think, was Spelljammer. They only wanted to keep like Forgotten Realms and Dragonlance around because they thought that those two would make the most money. But now they brought back Spelljammer not too long ago, and now they're bringing back Darksun, and this art just looks great.
Indeed, it does.
I mean, one of the things that Darksun also has is that magic draws upon the earth. That's why the earth is completely destroyed. There are no more. The oceans are dried up. The forests are dead. The forests are gone. And basically, some main things is that there are either people who use psionic powers, because psionics, you cannot throw a stone without hitting a psychic in that world, or they have like preservists who actually use magic, but only in a controlled way, in a controlled setting.
So like builders and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, not actually. They will draw on the magic, but they won't draw more than they need for certain spells. So like world-ending events, like, and things like that. Yeah, they don't do that. But another thing was that was the way that dragons were created, and this is completely dark. Dragons were created because they were actually ancient evil sorcerers, and the more and more they would use corrupting magic, it would corrupt their bodies as well, and they would become dragons.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So like, I hope this goes well. I am tomorrow. I am going to be in my another session of D&D. I understand you're still doing your this art. It's from hey Sean, what's going on? This art is Darksun, is from D&D Darksun. It is by, let me see who the artist is. Really can't. They really don't say who the artist is. That's weird. But
too.
Yeah, but it's great art. So, but anyways, thanks a lot, guys, for showing up. We're gonna call it a night. Sylth, what time is it? I don't want to dox you, but is it getting pretty late over there?
It indeed is.
All right, so thanks for showing up, guys. Hope you guys all had fun. We had some great topics. Thank you for Aaron. Thank you, Sylth. And remember,
thank you for having me, man.
Hey, no problem. All right, so remember, everybody, keep playing, and God bless. See ya.